So I recently switched from making my thumbnails in Canva to now Pixlr, and I think it's a lot better because Pixlr, it is a free version of Photoshop, and I think it can do pretty much the exact same things. Max, you have never tried Photoshop in your life. Well, actually I did take a digital photography class at school and we did get Photoshop to use. So yeah, Pixlr pretty much does have the exact same features. So I'm gonna be going over how I make a thumbnail for my videos. If you've seen some of my thumbnails, maybe you think they look good, maybe you think they look trash, but I'm just gonna be showing you some things that I do to spice them up. Yeah, so let's get into it. So I do switch between Pixlr X and Pixlr E because they do have two different types of features, and I think that they're both good in their own ways. But let's just start here with Pixlr X because that is where you can do some simple graphic designs and you can also just edit your photo a lot easier. So let's just drag this in. This was a file of me just at the tennis court. So over here we can go to adjustment and filter, and this is where I just do some touch-ups and I adjust the color, the light details, stuff like that. So let's start with color. I usually like to turn the vibrance up a bit because that way it really makes the colors pop, and I like that instead of having those colors to be really dull, that'd be something like that. You want it to pop, so I'll just keep it around 40. Saturation, it was a little bit warm, so I don't want to boost it up too much because I can always do that with the temperature, so I'll keep it like that. I normally don't play around with the tint or the hue. For light, I adjust the brightness to make it slightly bright along with the exposure as well, because then I know to put the contrast up because I really like contrasty photos. It spices it up a bit and gives that, I don't know, that just really nice effect. Contrast at 17 here. I'll turn the blacks up. The whites, I think I can turn it down a bit because as you can see, if I go up too much, the sky over here, it's going to be a little bit overexposed, so I'll turn it down just a bit. I like to boost the highlights and turn down the shadows, and I think it has a really cool effect here. I've recently been getting into photography, and an inspiration for me is Peter McKinnon, and this is exactly sort of the style of photos he's making, so that's how I got inspired, making it kind of contrasty and have this sort of moody look, but at the same time it looks really good. Now in details, I like to sharpen it a bit to give it some more texture and more feel to the whole entire image. Other than that, I add a vignette most of the time, not too much, not too harsh, maybe just 11 here. Up the blues a bit in the back because I want it to be a bit more blue. Other than that, I think it's pretty fine. Alright, so now I just click apply and we're all set. Now I did the basic editing of the photo and I think it looks really, really great. Now I want to add some other features to this, making it look pretty spiced up. So we're going to head over to Pixlr E, which is the advanced photo editor, just like Photoshop. So I usually like to add the text first. The text I always use for my thumbnails is B-Bus, and let's just name this tennis for now. So we're going to increase the size right here, and I always like to follow a rule called the 4-word rule, where you're not allowed to put more than 4 words on your entire thumbnail. That's going to help keep your viewers not be overwhelmed with the amount of information on your thumbnails. So I like to do that a lot. Another thing that I always like to do is put this text behind myself, and that's really important because I mean it adds more depth and it shows that you put more time into your thumbnails. Let's just show that real quick how to do it. So we're going to rotate this on an angle a bit. Let's just hide this by unchecking it on the side, and we're going to click on our background and use something called the lasso tool where I can duplicate myself by drawing it. So this is going to take some steady hands. I'd use my trackpad here, but if you use a mouse, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is just draw around myself as best as possible. Zoom in if you like. This is going to take some precision, so I'm going to speed it up in editing. I got the basic premise of myself here. I didn't do the rest of my body because I mean I don't really have that time right now. Now I have myself selected. I'll do Control C. Now it says it's copied. Now I'll do Control V. And as you can see, we duplicated myself. Then we'll go back here and resize it and put it over, matching it up exactly how it was. Okay, and that looks pretty good. Now we're going to check the text, and we're gonna also put that layer underneath that layer that I had before, and as you can see, there we go. I have the word tennis behind myself, but if we go any farther, then it's gonna go through my body, which is not gonna look good. I'm just gonna put the tennis word over here at this angle. So also what you may notice is the word tennis. It is sort of hard to see and not really going to catch the viewer's eye because it sort of blends in with the sky in the back. So what I do is right click on it and then click rasterize layer. And what that does is makes it an image, but after that you cannot edit the text at all, so I can't change it to something else. So then I'd go up to here and filter, click filter, I click outline. I'm gonna make it black. 13 is good here. And what I also do is an outer glow. So that's gonna make it glow a bit. So I'll keep it at white. Feather, I like to keep it like that because it really makes it look glowy. So there we go. I think it looks pretty good already. The word tennis, you can obviously readjust it here. I think that looks really sick. What I also like to do is add images because images are important, and let's go and search for a tennis ball cartoon. Make sure it is transparent. So you can do it by clicking tools on the side in Google search and then transparent. I think what I'll actually do, go to text and I will make an emoji for it. So I'll click the emoji button on the Mac. So click tennis, and here's the tennis ball. No need to change the font there. So what I'll do, I think this actually looks pretty fire here. I'll put the tennis ball behind the actual word tennis and maybe add an outer glow or outer glow. Yep, that looks pretty good. Feather it and like that. Boom. I think that looks really good so far. Something else that I usually like to do in my thumbnails, if you saw that one video where I said YouTube subscriber count doesn't matter, I had those exactly, but it's pretty much the same principle here. What I do is just get like a pen or something. Make sure you're drawing on the background because if you want that to be in the back, so it's gonna look something like this. I'll just change the color of it, the yellow options. I mean, that could look good and that could look like something you want to see. It adds a little bit more of a depth in the background, and I guess this would be a final thumbnail. In my opinion, I think it looks really good already. That's pretty much what I do for my thumbnails, and then I just click save by doing Control S, and then I would always put the quality to the highest. But as you can see in the corner it says 2.2 megabytes, and YouTube only allows you to upload thumbnails that are 2 megabytes or less. So we're gonna lower that to about 99% because it's gonna be 1.1 megabytes. You can't really tell the difference though, so we're gonna download it now. But then you might be asking me, Max, how exactly do you save this thumbnail so you can reference it later and edit it later? Well, what I do usually is do Control S and then go over here to PXZ. That is where you can save it. It's like a Photoshop file. In Photoshop you can always open it again, so we're gonna make it a much larger file because we don't want to lose any of the data. Let's download it, and as we see, it's going to be a PXZ file. So I'll just show you as an example. We're going to open the image, and here we're opening that same project file, and everything's all saved, all of our layers, everything. We can access everything. So that's pretty much the premise of making a thumbnail here. Honestly, this thumbnail looks really good in my opinion. One of the better ones I've made. Yeah, that's about it. I switched from Canva because I think Canva was a bit more basic. You couldn't do as many things, but I think it's something good that you can start out with and you can make a lot of cool things on. I guess I sort of outgrew it in a way. I've been using them for maybe a year and a half at most, and Pixlr is still a free option. I think it's something that is just a step up in my opinion. So if you're using Canva right now, why not try Pixlr? And it's not as scary as it seems. You just gotta get used to it. Yeah, that's about it. That's how I make my thumbnails. If you have any questions, be sure to leave it in the comments down below. Oh, by the way, if you were sticking through the whole entire video, let me know in the comments right now because you're the real ones. How do you think that looks? The Starry Night picture. That is a new addition I put in my room because that wall looked like crap because I tore down my acoustic foam panels. Alright, as always, thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace. Waking up anew, wasting time is all I do. But now when I'm with you, I don't know how the outro was, you know, I was trying to do that zoom out transition like that. Yeah, peace out guys.